We are talking now with Jancy McPhee, and I'm going to go right to this. Though you have a PhD in biophysics, he read, and did many years of neuroscience research, you are pretty much enthralled by every discipline of science and all artistic expression. That's the impression I get.
Well, thank you very much. That either makes me unfocused or a mastermind of many different things. So I appreciate the comment. Master
of all trades. And probably it also makes you just the right person to have founded the SciArt Exchange, which is one of the reasons you're here, the primary reason. And you, if you've seen any of the films from Project Mars that we have been running during some of these breaks, you have seen a project that was a result of your work at SciArt, right?
That's absolutely right. So in collaboration with NASA, we reached out to college and early career professionals to create posters and films about NASA's pathway to Mars, which of course includes the foray to the moon first and then onward to Mars. And the results were absolutely fabulous. We had an enormous number of films from nearly 60 countries, and the artwork is really, really engaging and inspiring. So every time someone experiences the artwork, it makes them think about Mars. Hey, are we really going there? What do I know about Mars? What do I think about Mars? What can I learn about Mars? So it's the project works to not just inspire the artists who create the masterpieces, but to use their masterpieces to inspire others. And so it's been very, very exciting to see what came out of that. And I'm just really grateful that we had the chance to collaborate with NASA on that.
The magnificence of the work, both the posters and the films, is one factor. Another that is also very, very rewarding is to see that they've come from all over the world.
Absolutely, and that is part of the mission of the organization. Is we want to inspire everyone. So some of our artists actually self-identify as scientists and engineers, and then they're dabbling in the arts. Many of them primarily classify themselves as artists, and then they're learning about science and technology and space. But what's really interesting is when you get the multicultural perspective. And actually our top winner this year was a little microcosm of that, because the team actually came from NYU, but they originally came from India, and their main character was a young woman, and some of you may have already seen the film, who in her childhood becomes inspired about space. And it's a tale of how her family supported and nurtured her interest, and then she ends up being one of the first people to go to Mars. And there are these beautiful scenes that are making it obvious that it's an international collaboration. There's a lot of different people there. The inspiration came in their youth, because each one of them is briefly imaged as a young person, sort of with the excitement, the culmination of their dreams. So it's a great capture of a whole lot of complex ideas, and there's not even any spoken word. So.
And that's part of the appeal of this, right? I mean, not everybody can follow, let's say, all the presentations, all the slides with all of the complex flowcharts that we are watching as part, not entirely, but part of what this conference is all about. But pretty much everybody, and especially young people, can feel the romance of what's happening here.
Well, what's important is you have to care about something, because anything that is really worthwhile and that ultimately becomes creative requires hard work. And it is at that edge when things start to get difficult that the most amazing things happen. So one of those key aspects to leading to creativity is that you have to care. And so the spark is very important, and amazing things happen when that spark has happened.
I have only seen a small fraction of the film so far. Where can I see the rest of them?
So it's really lovely, because we put up on the Project Mars website, so that's www.projectmarscompetition.com or .org, either of those will work. And not just the winners, but also all of the finalists are listed there. So there are 24 films, and I think it's 34 posters, and they are available for people to use locally at their events to inspire their community, whether their community of interest is young people or it's fellow adults. They can use those. They just need to come through us, through SciArt Exchange, and make a request, and then we will come to a happy agreement, and then we can release the artwork to them to use locally. So,
like in schools?
Absolutely. In schools, in museums, art centers, libraries. I didn't have a chance to tell you that through our 10 years of work, we're up to almost 2.9 million in-person eyeballs.
Wow.
And some of those have been really big ticket items, like recently there was a huge congratulations for the top poster winner on a giant sign on a highway in Detroit. 500,000 eyeballs drove past that highway sign. So the artwork is creative, but so is how you use the artwork. So there's a tremendous opportunity there to personalize. Every event is different, even though the kernel of the artwork that we're curating might be a shared set.
So you are having the influence that you hope to have when you set this up.
Yes, it's been a journey. And I think that everyone who works in this sort of business has their challenges. And frankly, like most of those people, I live for that moment when someone says, "Thank you. You have really changed my life." And we're certainly not getting rich, but hopefully, person by person, we are actually creating the future. And I think that that's important enough to forego having unlimited resources.
There are different varieties of wealth. What's ahead? I know you have one competition which people are going to have to get right on it if they want to get in. So
let's check the watch. We are down to less than 9 hours in which 10 to 18-year-olds from around the world can submit an entry, and it can be visual, literary, film, or visual art. Visual, literary, film, or music. But most likely, if you've only got 10 hours, you really only have time to craft a poem or a not so complicated visual art. But all of the entry information is at humansinspaceart.org. And this year, our question is appropriately called "What Will People Do on the Moon?" And we have this hashtag, Welcome to the Moon. And it is a prospective contest, thinking about what will we do in the future while we are also celebrating our accomplishments of the past. So it's a nice complement to all the events that are going on literally around the world to celebrate the first human footstep on the moon.
There's much more, I'm sure, in store in the future. Where, again, do people go to keep track of what you're up to at SciArt Exchange?
So the best thing to do is to go to the SciArt Exchange website and to go to our mailing list and to sign up on the mailing list, because I don't spam people with frequent emails, but I will let them know when there's an open activity. And sometimes it's for children, sometimes it's for adults, and people will just get a notice and they say, "Hey, that sounds like something that suits me or that suits my neighbor next door." And that way people can know when there's a chance to contribute and to learn and to leverage this activity to get really excited about the future of space.
Can't wait to see the results of that new competition that ends in a few hours.
Yes.
Thank you, Jancy.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Jancy McPhee of the SciArt Exchange.